So just give us a moment here. It takes a little bit to fire this up. Just give us a moment here. It takes a little bit to fire this up. Okay, we are live. Welcome. My name is Keith Hampton. For all you YouTube people out there, I am a very pleased customer, a very happy customer of a company called Bitcoin Trend and Forecast, or BitcoinTAF.com. It is an amazing, amazing company. I was introduced to this company about 8, 9 years ago. And through the training and education that they've provided me in the cryptocurrency space, they have really changed my life. So what I would like to just let you know about is that you can go to this website here called BitcoinTAF.com, which is a shortened version for Bitcoin Trend and Forecast. And what I would do is I would scroll through it and take a look at all the different things they have to offer. And specifically, when we get into it, we need to look at all the different products, depending on where you are, where you're getting started, and where you want to go. That is really the journey. And we need to find out where you are and where you'd like to go. So that's why we like to have these calls where people can jump on board with us and ask questions, and we can help answer them to give them the right guidance and the confidence that this is the space they need to be in, because cryptocurrency space is going to outperform every other investment in the world over the next 3 years. I believe it's going to outperform stocks, bonds, Forex, commodities, absolutely everything. And the reason for that is that the whole world is moving into the three new dynamic spaces. And those spaces are uh, blockchain technology, which is where cryptocurrency is based on, artificial intelligence, which also uses blockchain technology, and robotics, which also is now tying in with blockchain technology. And those three are going to create such a dramatic shift in everything we do. Folks, in 3 years, 4 years, I think you'll hardly recognize the world. There'll be so many changes. AI alone is outpacing the growth in every sector right now. There is so much, and the value to the human race will be incredible. There is some fear, but overall, I think man will get it sorted out, and we are going to be going into a new era. And guess what? All of this has to run on the blockchain and the cryptocurrency space. So this is the time to get invested in this space on a long-term basis. And if you are a long-term investor, I personally recommend two subscriptions that you should seriously consider. One is the long-term reports by Marius Landman. This gives you very good guidance on where we're at with Bitcoin. In fact, what you're seeing on the screen here is Bitcoin chart. Each candle is about 1 week or 7 days. And you'll notice we've come from the bottom here way back in November of 2022. And it has been a very bumpy ride. But when you zoom out, it has been a very rewarding ride. I mean, it's gone from a very low of about 16 or 15,000 all the way up to today. We've got as high as 126. So the question is, though, you need good guidance, because where are we going from here? That's the million-dollar question. I mean, you can try and gather information from other sources, and I found the other sources very unreliable because most of the other sources in the internet world are very agendized. And there's some people believe that now that we're at this point, we're going to go sideways. This is basically, we've topped out. I've got other people say, oh, no, 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 no. We're just going to continue on up into this zone. And who knows from there? We've got some people predicting very, very high numbers. Others are predicting a little different scenario. So the question is, which one is right? And that's the key. That's the joy of getting the information from Marius Landman and his ultimate long-term reports. They are invaluable. Without that, you won't know where you're at and where you're going. But the other thing that's important is that I personally, if you limited in resources and you can only afford one course and you want to know the future, I would personally subscribe to the Elliott Wave chart patterns because not only do you get the overview on Bitcoin, but you also get all of the long-term reports on the major altcoins out in the space. So you know where you're at with those coins and where we're going. And that to me is invaluable because we don't know which blockchain is going to be the ultimate winners out there, but we do know the majors and we do know why you want to strategize to be involved in some of them. And that's why I utilize these Elliott Wave reports. They are absolutely invaluable. They really have changed my life. And boy, I know that we've had quite a sideways summer going into fall. But I believe that we're going into next year at certain points in time, based on the information that Marius has provided us, we're going to have one heck of a year in the altcoins. The question is, when do you get out? That's the other important point, and that's the key. If you know ahead of time the targets and the reasons why the targets are there and why we're going to be going back down, that's invaluable. Timing is everything in the any sort of investing. So that's what I would highly recommend. And while you're, in this journey, the key that I always recommend is education. You really want to start with education because you need to know as much as possible about the industry you're getting into. Folks, I mean, you wouldn't become a doctor without years of schooling and training. You wouldn't become a lawyer, an accountant, a plumber, a welder. You need the foundations, you need the training, you need the guidance from the professionals, from the people that been successful in this space. So with that, I would highly recommend that you're going through the courses, that you take a serious look at the HODL self-paced foundational trading course, or you can even do it live as well, depending on the time of year. Both courses are incredible. They really give you a very, very strong foundation. So for me, it's like graduating from high school, going from junior high to high school, where you've got enough tools to probably succeed in the world, but you want to become an expert. You want to get more. And this is where I would highly recommend over here the Ultimate Day Trading course. This will really make your life a blessing in the investing world. This course is probably the most in-depth course that I have ever taken. And I have taken other trading courses from other people in the past, probably paid at least 3 times this figure and got 1/3 of the value. This course here is like graduating from university with a PhD. When you've completed this course, you will not only be an excellent trader, but you become your own analyst. And you can utilize all of these tools that you've learned in the Ultimate course for trading cryptocurrency or trading stocks, commodities, Forex. That's the power of that course. So there's something here for everybody. And, it's up to you to find out what you want and where you want to go. And you can reach out to us anytime, with support tickets so we can help answer your questions and give you good guidance. Any of these courses that you subscribe to and the reports, you get weekly PDFs on the what's happening and where we're going. You get weekly Zoom calls, and some of these Zoom calls go for 1 to 2 hours, so that you really get a good understanding as to what's happening in the space. Now, if you want to follow the traders and just try to copy them, we have other tools for that. We have the medium-term trade reports where you can follow Nico and his training and his guidance and what he expects certain coins to do over, say, 90 days, something like that. They also have Day Trade Masters, which trades on the shorter time frames, but they also trade the decentralized finance area. And that's something else I should mention to you. Once you've completed the Ultimate Trading course, this next step, the Ultimate DeFi course, wow, that is taking this to the highest level, because a lot of trading that's happening in the cryptocurrency space is now happening in the decentralized exchanges, not on the centralized ones. So there's a big shift happening in that space, and that's where you ultimately want to be in this world. It will be your highest reward, risk reward scenario out there. So to give you an idea of just how good some of these courses are, Wendy developed a wonderful tool called the Huddle Fire. And this can be utilized with very little training. However, and it can be extremely successful. However, it's even more successful when you've had the full training. And I must uh, constantly insist on that. You're only as good as the knowledge that you have as the base. But let me show you this little Huddle Fire and how it works. It's really quite a unique tool. So basically, how this tool works is you're looking for pivot points or you're looking for momentum shifts because you want to know when to get out and when to get in. So it works extremely well on longer time frames. So I've got 4 hour candles up here, and I've got a coin called a towel, which has been a very interesting coin over the last little while. And the key is that you'll notice that in the black here, you've got pivot tops and pivot bottoms, tops and bottoms. Now you notice at the front here, this pivot bottom is in blue. What that simply means is that it's unconfirmed. It's not 100% confirmed that's the bottom. It's a high probability, but it's not confirmed. So when you're utilizing this tool by itself, what I usually recommend is wait until you see a buy tag after the pivot bottom. And that at that point, that's when I would enter the trade. Right here where this buy tag is where I would have entered this trade. Now, again, it's not confirmed 100%. It's still blue back there. So we need to protect our capital. So if you're on a centralized exchange, I would simply reach out and set a stop loss on that trade. And I would usually set it slightly below that bottom pivot. So the reason why I do that is I want to protect my capital. And in this case, what I'm only risking is about 7%. So if I had $100 on this trade, Ken, I would only be risking, say, $7 on that trade. It takes me out and I live to fight another day. But as this coin starts moving up and I see there's some strength, what I do is I move my stop loss up to break even. Now I got a risk-free trade. So that market turns back down, I'm out, didn't cost me a dime. So it protected my capital. So that's the key with utilizing risk management. Risk management that's what training and education in the whole cryptocurrency space is all about. The more training and education you have, the less risk you have, and the more success you have. That's really the key. So as this coin is moving up, what I'm looking for is a pivot top. And as soon as I see a pivot top, that's when I exit the market. So I would have probably exited somewhere around there. And in that case, now I turned that break-even trade into a profitable trade. What in this case would have made about 19%. Not bad when you consider the time frame on that. If I entered here and exit here, so in 2 days and 4 hours, I made 19%. That's how the game is played. And so we would just repeat the pattern. So here we go. I'll just clean this up a little bit. We've got another bottom pivot, but look how long it took for we got a buy tag. The market was going sideways. However, I now feel it's confirmed. I would have entered this trade. I would have set my stop loss again, just slightly below the bottom pivot. And you could have set it a little tighter if you wanted. It really is up to you on your comfort zone. In this case, I'm risking again about 7%. And as it moves forward, I would have moved my stop loss to break even. And as soon as I would have got the top pivot, I would have got out and locked in another 12%. It's basically that easy. However, no market is easy. There's always oftentimes where the market will not play out the way this is happening. In fact, we've had it where it actually did the opposite, where we got in and the market did this and then started going. So this, I'd run the risk only 7% of my entire trade. Because the other problem is that you don't know what the market does. Sometimes it will just continue do this and have a big trend change. Now, if you didn't have a stop loss in, you're stuck in this thing and your capital can be wiped out in crypto. I mean, it can drop 70, 80, 90%. So that's why you need to protect your capital in this scenario. Now, if you'd like to follow other copy trade what the experts are doing, like Nico and Corey, you can use the MTT reports, and you will get reports like this, where we're looking at a coin like virtual, and we would have gotten the report, long before this played out, and we would have said, okay, this is, getting a real base here. It's building up momentum. It's flowing sideways, but we won't get into it until it breaks this bottom line. And we really need to break these EMA and VWAP lines, and we need to see these oscillators. And this is all the training and education that you get when you take the Ultimate Trade course. So you know the timing of when to get in on this and when to get out. And now I could spend a half an hour explaining all these little indicators and what it means. But the bottom line is with the training, I would have gotten into this trade approximately right about here, and I would have gotten out on the first round. I would have got out right about there. So I would have locked in a nice little 58% profit on that trade. Now these play out over a longer time frame. So that's the other thing. You don't when if you're working with short time frames, you need more like the Hollow Knots course. If you're looking for longer time frames, you need to be looking at the Ultimate Trade course. Um, and I like to use 4 hour candles and 8 hour candles as my guide on the longer term trades. I'm not a scalp trader, but there is people that we work with that train, and they'll work down into 15-minute, 5 minute, down to 3 minute and 1 minute candles, and they're very, very successful. But again, it's who you are, what's your comfort zone, and what type of style of trading that you like to do. The key here is trading, not gambling. That's really the most important point here. You do not want to come into this market and pretend like it acts like a lottery ticket. You're not gambling. We want to train you and educate you so that you are very methodical and logical, because emotions in this market become commotions. And remember, trade in the investment world, they are relying on you becoming emotional so they can get you on the opposite side of the trade, because they make money when you use greed and fear. So the training we provide reduces and eliminates greed and fear from that space. So if that speaks to you, then I'd highly recommend that you take a serious look at joining bitcointaf.com for free, and take a look at the different services that they provide. And I mean, I'm here weekly, every Friday and every Monday, to answer your questions. So you're more than welcome to, Ken, that you're online here today with me, to ask any question. You could even unmute yourself and ask a question if you. And hopefully we'll see you on the other